There comes a point where the world collectively pauses, looks at a situation and says, what exactly are we witnessing here? And when it comes to Samantha Markle's latest outburst, yet another bitter tirade directed at Meghan Sussex, that moment has absolutely arrived. Because what we're seeing is no longer normal criticism, no longer a sibling disagreement, no longer family issues. What we're seeing is a level of fixation and hostility that has gone far beyond anything reasonable. Let's call it exactly what it is: an obsession rooted in resentment, kept alive for years, and directed at a woman who has not engaged with it, responded to it, or fueled it. The only person who keeps this fire burning is Samantha herself. And honestly, it's time somebody says it plainly. Samantha Markle needs to heal, move on, and stop using Meghan Sussex's name as a punching bag whenever she's craving attention. Because let's break down what actually happened here. A photo of Meghan Sussex was posted, a simple image, no scandal, no drama, no controversy, just a picture. And immediately, Samantha jumps online and unleashes a full paragraph of insults, comparisons, and jabs like she's auditioning to be a professional troll. This isn't sisterly concern. This isn't constructive feedback. This isn't someone speaking from a place of love or even mild irritation. This is a public attempt to tear down another woman, her own sibling, and cloak it under the excuse of just telling the truth. No. This is bitterness disguised as commentary. Let's be real. Most siblings argue. Most siblings irritate each other. Most siblings have disagreements. But healthy siblings do not launch multi-year smear campaigns. They do not spend their days online looking for opportunities to degrade each other. They do not wait for a new photo or update just to respond with hate. And they do not weaponize their siblings' success as a personal grievance. What makes Samantha's behavior even more glaring is the consistency. Every time Meghan Sussex trends, every time she appears in a magazine, accomplishes something, attends an event, or simply exists in the public sphere, Samantha is right there, like clockwork, ready with negativity. And not subtle negativity. No, she goes straight for appearance, character, personality, anything she can twist into an insult. That's not normal, that's not healthy, that's not love, that's a pattern, and the public sees it. Even people who aren't fans of Meghan Sussex have repeatedly asked the same question. Why does Samantha seem more invested in Meghan's life than Meghan herself? Because for years, Meghan has stayed silent, lived her life, built her family, and focused on her own path. She has not engaged, she has not retaliated, she has not even acknowledged the endless commentary. Yet Samantha continues as though she's having a one-sided feud with an audience of one, herself. Let's call out the reality. If Meghan Sussex was not famous, Samantha would not be doing this. If Meghan Sussex was not successful, independent and thriving, Samantha would not be doing this. If Meghan Sussex did not embody everything Samantha cannot control, her platform, her visibility, her global influence, then Samantha would not be doing this. Because this type of consistent hostility doesn't erupt from nowhere. It comes from envy, from hurt pride, from unmet expectations, from the deep frustration of watching someone else rise while you remain stagnant. It comes from the belief that proximity to Meghan Sussex should have elevated her too, and when it didn't, resentment filled the gap. Let's talk about the latest post specifically, the cruel comment claiming Meghan looks like she partied all night, comparing her to random celebrities, and even going as far as saying people would prefer a salamander on a magazine cover. That is not criticism. That is not concern. That is targeted humiliation. And again, that's directed at her own sibling. Just pause and think. What kind of person publicly refers to their sister that way? Who sees their sibling succeeding, being featured in major outlets, being photographed, being discussed globally, and responds not with maturity, compassion, or even silence, but with insults crafted for virality? It says far more about Samantha than it ever will about Meghan Sussex. Because here is the truth Samantha refuses to confront. Meghan Sussex's life has moved forward. Her marriage, her family, her work, her projects, her peace, her growth. Meanwhile, Samantha's public identity has been reduced to one thing and one thing only: attacking Meghan Sussex. She has built an entire online persona, multiple interviews, commentary segments, and years of tweets around criticizing someone she doesn't speak to, someone who doesn't engage, someone who owes her nothing. That's not normal sisterhood. That's dependency on conflict. And honestly, it's embarrassing. For Samantha, not Meghan. Because at some point, adults have to stop blaming others for their own dissatisfaction. They have to stop chasing visibility through negativity. They have to confront their own wounds instead of projecting them onto someone else. And they have to stop pretending that cruelty is honesty. Samantha's hostility has become predictable. She isn't offering insight, she's offering bitterness. She isn't providing commentary, she's recycling resentment. She isn't telling the truth, she's crafting narratives that keep her orbiting Meghan's world, even though Meghan has clearly moved on from hers. And let's address the elephant in the room. If you hate someone this deeply, if you resent everything they do, if you cannot go a single month without publicly attacking them, then you are not the victim. You are the participant. You are the instigator. You are choosing this cycle. Samantha is choosing it. The rest of the world is simply witnessing it. And yes, people can hate their own sibling. It happens. But what we're seeing here is not just sibling hatred. It's fixation. It's almost an emotional dependence on conflict. Because every time Meghan Sussex does something notable, Samantha suddenly has meaning again. She has a tweet. She has a headline. She has attention. And that is the saddest part. Because not once has Samantha stood on her own story, her own accomplishments, her own growth. Instead, she has tied her identity to someone she claims to despise. It's time Samantha does something she has avoided for years. Heal, move on, detach. Let Meghan Sussex live her life without being dragged into family resentment. She never fuels. Because Meghan's silence is the clearest message of all. It reflects maturity. It reflects boundaries. It reflects a refusal to engage in public toxicity. And no matter how many insults Samantha hurls, no matter how many degrading comments she posts, no matter how many interviews she gives, Meghan Sussex continues to rise above it. That is what empowerment looks like. That is what self-respect looks like. That is what breaking the cycle looks like. Meanwhile, Samantha is stuck replaying the same script, the same negativity, the same bitterness. And at some point, the world will stop paying attention. Because people eventually get tired of recycled hostility, especially when it comes from someone who hasn't evolved or grown past the resentment. This latest attack proves one thing. Samantha Markle has built a platform on negativity, but negativity has an expiration date. And when that day comes, and it will, she'll have nothing left but the opportunity to do what she should have done years ago. Find healing, find peace, and stop weaponizing Meghan Sussex's name for validation. Until then, people will continue calling out this behavior for what it is: toxic, fixated, unnecessary, and deeply sad. Because at the end of the day, Meghan Sussex isn't the one trapped in bitterness. Samantha is. And until she confronts that truth, she will continue repeating this cycle, while Meghan continues thriving in a life Samantha cannot touch. Samantha Markle needs to move on, for her own well-being, for her own dignity, and for the simple fact that the world is tired of watching someone tear down their own sibling to feel important. It's time.